Hello, everyone. It's Keith Bailey coming at you with NFL predictions for 2017. I've been at this for a while now. 2014 was the first year I did this, and I predicted the Broncos and Seahawks to be in the Super Bowl against one another, and was correct. The following season in 2015, I picked the Colts and the Packers. Was incorrect. Super Bowl 50. I again decided to go with Colts Packers, I believe. And then last year I switched it up a little bit. I decided to go with Steelers and I forget what it was. But all I know is that it's new season, 2017. A lot's happened in the NFL, ranging from the whole Kaepernick situation to Jay Cutler being a Dolphin to all the free agency moves the Patriots decided to do. So, spent a lot of time going through and predicting the 2017 NFL season through this website called playoffpredictors.com. Go ahead and check it out. A lot of variables I used into trying to figure all of this out. I even went so far into these predictions that over the previous 3 seasons, home teams have like a 145 and 105 record at home or something like that. I kept that number in the 140 range for this. I didn't pick every home team to win. You look at matchups on paper and you put a lot of emphasis on the home team if they're a little better, and just picking that home team 9 times out of 10. Didn't do that this time around. There was one week in 2016 that there were 3 home teams that won and 11 away teams won. So that's the NFL. There's a lot of predictions, and we're gonna start in the AFC North. The 4th place team in the AFC North is, I'm going to say it, the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost quite a bit in free agency this year. Andy Dalton's still a good quarterback, and A.J. Green is still a top 10 receiver in this league, and that offense is nice, but the changes that they've had on the offensive line and the problems they've had on the defense, I think Cincinnati's going to take a pretty decent step back this year. It's not going to go full rebuild mode after this upcoming season. They'll keep A.J. Green, they'll keep Andy Dalton, but I think they go 4-12. They have a tough schedule. I mean, when you play the Steelers twice, it's already hard enough. What division are they playing here too? I think they're playing the NFC North. And the Vikings, Lions, and Packers, by any means, will not be easy games for them. Chicago. Actually, I think I have Chicago beating Cincinnati. Do I? Let's take a look. Let me go through my... Yeah, I have the Bears in Week 14 traveling to Cincinnati and winning. And one of the few Bears wins I have this year. So, 4-12 for the Bengals. 3rd place team in the AFC North, the Cleveland Browns, taking a little step up in the rankings. A lot of people believe that the Cleveland Browns are going to win 1 or 2 games again this year, to which I say incorrect. That's wrong. If you pay close attention to Cleveland, like I have, because my dad's a Browns fan, I listen to them, I keep track of the Brownies because I have a soft spot for them. They're not going to win 1 or 2 games this year. They're going to go 5-11, 3rd place in the AFC North, and they're going to be a tough team for a lot of teams. I wouldn't be surprised if after this upcoming season, the Cleveland Browns go 7-9 or 8-8. They're getting up there. They had 3 first-round picks this past year. They had Njoku, they had Jabril Peppers, and they had Myles Garrett. I mean, Myles Garrett has already been getting rave reviews from everyone in Cleveland Browns camp and has beaten Joe Thomas to the quarterback a number of times from what I hear. I think Cleveland, they start off against the Steelers. I think the Browns go 3-3 in the division too. I think they get swept against Pittsburgh, but I think they sweep Cincinnati. Because those two teams, no matter when they play, they always play tough games. Browns 5-11. Your second place team in the AFC North and the surprising 6th seed in the NFL playoffs, I have the Baltimore Ravens. Matt Combs. I know you think your Ravens are going to be bad, buddy, but according to what I did on this prediction site, you guys are going to be the 6th best team in the AFC. I have you guys at 9-7, getting in as the 6th seed. And when you look at the Ravens' schedule, I mean, yes, games against the Browns and Bengals. I know I've talked about Cleveland improving, but the Ravens are still better than the Browns and the Bengals. And when you look at those two teams beneath the Ravens, I mean, that's decent right there. I think the Ravens go 3-3 in the division. I think they split with everyone. And the Ravens will they match up on paper well against the Vikings, Lions, and they should beat the Bears. The Ravens, the entire AFC South, they play the AFC South as well. So take that into consideration, because the Ravens, they're playing the Colts, they're playing the Titans, they're playing the Jaguars, they're playing the Texans. Those aren't the sexiest matchups by any stretch. And I think the Ravens actually are the 6th seed and go 9-7. Next up, winner of the AFC North. I think we all knew that was coming. Pittsburgh Steelers go 12-4, and they're the 2 seed. I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore all that talent, and it's kind of hard not to fathom the Steelers winning the division when you play in a division with the Bengals, who are not the same team they were 2 years ago. The Browns, who aren't nearly the Steelers' caliber, but they're getting a little better. And the Ravens have major question marks on offense. And I think the Ravens getting in as the 6th seed, I think it's a testament to the defense of theirs. Because that defense that they have is nice. That secondary that they have is nice. But that's why the Ravens, I think, steal one from Pittsburgh. Because the Ravens and Steelers play very tight games against one another. The Steelers, I think, go 12-4. They win the AFC North. They're the 2 seed. We're now going to go to the AFC South. Your 4th place team in the AFC South is the Jacksonville Jaguars with a 6-10 record. Look, I picked the Jaguars to win the division last year. 9-7, I predicted them to go last year. I'm not buying it again this year. They need to show me something, because I put a lot of faith in them last year, and they went and took a shit on their season. Oh, by the way, that's I'm no longer living at home. That's just an update. I'm in an apartment now with my fiance because I'm getting married. So that's your little personal update. Now back to football. We got the Jaguars. Jacksonville, they're going to go 3-3 in the division. I think they split with everyone, even my Titans, because no matter what, I have come to accept the fact that every single year, those two teams are going to split. It's the fact of life. Jacksonville goes 6-10. I'm not buying it. I know they have talent all over the board on paper, but they still have Blake Bortles throwing the football. And that's not a good quarterback to be throwing the football. And the Jaguars aren't a team that can they're not like the Texans. They're not a team that can deal with struggles at quarterback and still be successful. The Texans have been able to do that for so long because they've experienced it pretty much their entire existence. Other than Matt Schaub in, 2011? Other than Matt Schaub in 2011, the Houston Texans have not had a stable quarterback situation for a very long time. Speaking of, we're going to go to our 3rd place team in the AFC South, the Houston Texans. 8-8. Having going 2-4 in the division, because I think Indianapolis, I believe it was, I think Indianapolis sweeps them. Let's take a look. Let's see, we got Colts. Where are they? Yeah, there's one win for the Colts. And then week 17. Yeah, I have the Colts sweeping Houston. Only because the Texans' defense, as good as it can be, Andrew Luck is not going to, if so that's assuming he can stay healthy, Andrew Luck I don't think is going to lose to Houston this year. Not the way they did last year, because Houston swept Indianapolis last year, I believe. Houston swept Tennessee last year, and Houston swept Jacksonville last year. No, Houston lost to Tennessee, never mind. But I think the Texans go 8-8. I like Deshaun Watson. I think he'll be a very good quarterback in this league. But I don't think the Houston Texans can replicate the success they had on defense over the last couple years, especially with the changes in the AFC South. It's not like they're playing a bunch of scrubs anymore. A lot of jokes come out about the AFC South and how bad it is. Well, let's just say those jokes aren't going to be very around for much longer. Second place in the AFC South is the Indianapolis Colts. I have them going 8-8. They're a solid team, but they're an 8-8 team. Andrew Luck is the only reason that team gets to 8-8. Without Andrew Luck, the Colts will probably go 6-10 or 5-11. But with Andrew Luck, he is good for, that extra oomph. But it's not going to be enough to get them into the playoffs this year. Which brings me to my first place team. And this is the first time in 4 years I've projected my Tennessee Titans not only to win the division, but to do it in a fashion that I think is, 10-6 is not a dominating record. But when you look at it compared to the rest of the AFC South, 6-10, 8-8, it's not like they're going to be in the last week fighting for the division title. I think the Tennessee Titans wrap the division up. Hang on a second. I think the Tennessee Titans have the potential to wrap the division up by week 16. The Titans are a very good football team, and they were last year when they took down 5 playoff teams, including the Packers, Chiefs, Lions, Dolphins, and the Texans, but no starters were playing. They also took down the defending champs, too. They took down the Denver Broncos back when the Broncos were 8-4. And now, mind you, they did all of this with Parrish Cox at cornerback. And all they did this offseason was go out and completely revamp their secondary. They have one starter on their secondary that's returning this year, and that's Kevin Byard at safety. Other than that, you got Logan Ryan, you got what's his name? LaShawn Sims, who looked very good over the last 3 weeks of the season as a rookie. And you have, I believe I said Logan Ryan is your new top cornerback now. So, and Jonathan Cyprien, they added in free agency. And now you go and look at the other weak spot, the receiving core. Tajay Sharp was the second receiver on this team last year. And now, with the additions that they've made, Tajay Sharp is no longer the second best receiver on this team, let me tell you. He's about 4 or 5 now. We got Rashard Matthews, we got Eric Decker, we have Corey Davis, and Taywan Taylor. A lot of you may not have heard the name, but he's been drawing rave reviews from camp as a third-string rookie. Excuse me. And teams will no longer be able to stack the box to stop DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry. Now they got to account for the outside with Rashard Matthews, Corey Davis, and Eric Decker. There are weapons all over this Titans team, and I couldn't imagine that there would be so much star power in this team 2 years after going 3-13. I think they go 10-6. They still struggle in the division. They go 3-3 in the division, but their schedule is not tough by any means. I believe they beat, the Raiders. I believe they beat the Seahawks. But then, of course, they're going to pull the Titans and lose on the road to Jacksonville in week 2. They'll still struggle in the division. But, I mean, they get Miami, possibly with Jay Cutler throwing the football. They get Cleveland. They get Cincinnati in a game that I actually have the Bengals winning. I have the Bengals beating the Titans in Nashville. But I think Tennessee goes 10-6, and that's good for third place in the AFC. I think they're going to be the 3 seed. And now we go to the AFC East. Jets, 1-15. You surprised? This team is awful. They're going to be the worst team in the NFL this year. It's not even going to be close. Next, Miami Dolphins, 4-12. Listen, I know the Dolphins had a good season last year. I acknowledge that. But look at who they played. I mean, you're talking about a Dolphins team that let's go check that out real quick. Let's do a little bit of research. Let's go Dolphins 2016 schedule. Okay. Here we go. Starting hang on. Okay. Alright, starting at Seattle. I mean, they lost to Seattle. They lost to the Patriots. Their wins came against Cleveland, the Steelers. That was an impressive one. But to be fair, Ben Roethlisberger was out for the last half of that game. So they beat the Browns, the Steelers minus Big Ben for a half. They swept the Bills. They swept the Jets. The Chargers had a losing record. The Rams and 49ers are awful. I mean, all of their wins, let's see. Bills, Jets, Cardinals, Niners, Rams, Chargers, Jets, Bills, Steelers, Browns. 9 of their wins came against teams that had a losing record. And that other team, the Steelers, walloped their asses in the playoffs and in the regular season were minus Big Ben for a half. So, and they beat the Patriots. Well, no, they didn't. Yeah, no. Never mind. That's just something that was showing up for the year. But, I mean, pretty much all of the Dolphins' wins last year were against subpar competition. When you put them up against teams that even had an 8-8 record last year, the Ravens, they got crunched 38-6 in Baltimore on December 4th. That's terrible. And that was in the midst of their winning streak. That's what happens when you finally put a team with an 8-8 or a winning record up against the Dolphins. Because let me tell you, Miami, they didn't do much last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Miami didn't do much of anything last year. The wins that they had, I think, were flukes. They lost to the Bengals. They lost to the Seahawks. I mean, they lost to the only teams that were really that good last year. They lost to the Titans. I mean, Miami's going to go 4-12, I think. Buffalo, 6-10. Not buying them. I never buy them. I got to plug in this computer before it dies. But Buffalo goes 6-10. And Tyrod Taylor, I don't see him last. The Bills' ownership structure, I mean, not their ownership structure. The way they're run is interesting. They're a mess. And I know Sean McDermott is solid. I think it'll take him more than 1 year, though, to flip this roster around. New England Patriots is the 1 seed at 14-2. I have them. No, I don't have them going 16-0 because that's stupid. They're not going to go undefeated. Patriots 14-2, 1 seed in the entire AFC. Let's go to the AFC South, or AFC West, excuse me. 4th place, I still have your Los Angeles Chargers in 4th place. They go 7-9. The injury bug is going to kill them. But I think the Chargers have a winning record against any team in the league that's not named the Broncos, Chiefs, or Raiders. I have the Chargers going 1-5 in division play because the competition that they have in their own division is ridiculously tough. Third place, Denver Broncos 8-8. Listen, again, I know they have a dominant defense, but when we have question marks at quarterback, it leads to an 8-8, 9-7, or 7-9 season. Just ask the Houston Texans. They know all about that, even though they win the division at 9-7, which is what they've done recently. Second place in the AFC West is the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't have them doing as well as they did a year ago. I have them going 10-6, and I think they're the 5 seed. Kansas City is one of those teams that's going to be there in the playoffs for a lot of years, as long as Andy Reid is coaching that team. But Andy Reid also is their limitation on the team, as is Alex Smith. I like Alex Smith as a quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. The only problem with Alex Smith is that he's not a Ben Roethlisberger. He's not a Russell Wilson. He's not a Matt Ryan. He's not going to be the guy that leads the team to victory. It's going to be a team effort with Kansas City week in and week out. Your first place team in the AFC West with a 10-6 record is the Oakland Raiders. Listen, the Raiders won, I think, 7 games last year by one possession. I think the Raiders did very well in one possession games last year. That's not going to happen again this year. They're going to struggle a little bit, but they're still going to be a very good football team. 10-6, 4 seed, Oakland Raiders. And now we're going to go to the playoffs. Let's see here. First game, we have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to take on the Oakland Raiders. In a game I think the Oakland Raiders take. Baltimore, Tennessee, we're going to go Tennessee in that game. Because Tennessee has too many weapons for Baltimore's defense to handle, and Tennessee's defense matches well up against that offense. Next week, we have the Raiders at the Patriots. Gotta go with New England. And then Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Gotta go Pittsburgh. Conference championship game. I gotta go. I mean, I know it's predictable, but I gotta go with the I can't not go with the Patriots. They're just too talented. That's just the truth of it. They're a very talented football team. They're very good. Hang on a second, I gotta check something. Let's see if it matches up. Yes, I gotta go with New England. I know it's a cliche, but they're clearly the class of the entire AFC, because the only team that's relatively close to them, the Steelers, suck every time they play the Patriots. But those are my predictions for the AFC. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button down low. Let's get to 100 subscribers this year. That'd be nice. It's taken me 4 years to get to 80, so we're at about 20 a year. Let's see if we could keep this number going up a little more. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'll see you guys all next time.